been introduced by the Minister for Justice to allow long-term undocumented migrants to regularise their status in Ireland. The scheme is not established under law, but is instead an administrative scheme introduced under the Minister's executive powers. In this video, we'll briefly summarise who is eligible to apply under the scheme and what you will need to do this. Firstly, who can apply? There are 4 different categories. The first is single and principal applicants. To come within this category, you must be a non-EEA national who is over 18 and living undocumented in Ireland continuously for the last 4 years prior to the 31st of January 2022. You must continue to reside undocumented when applying. The second category is a family application, which includes a couple only. This includes a principal applicant and their spouse or civil or de facto partner. The principal applicant must still show 4 years living undocumented in Ireland, while the spouse or civil or de facto partner must be over 18 and living continuously and undocumented with the principal applicant for the last 2 years prior to the 31st of January 2022 and continue to do so when the application is submitted. The next category is a family application with at least one dependent minor child. If there is at least one dependent child who is under 18, then the principal applicant must have been living undocumented in Ireland continuously for the last 3 years. The spouse or civil or de facto partner must have been living continuously and undocumented with the principal applicant for the last 2 years and continue to do so at the time of applying. While the child who was under 18 must have been residing with the principal applicant immediately before the 13th of January 2022. Children between the age of 18 and 23 are also eligible, provided they have been living with the principal applicant as a family unit continuously and undocumented for the last 2 years prior to the 13th of January 2022 and continue to live undocumented and as a family unit when the family application is submitted. The final category is a family application where there is at least one dependent adult child who is between the age of 18 and 23. In this case, the principal applicant must have been residing continuously and undocumented in Ireland for the last 4 years prior to the 31st of January 2022 and continue to reside undocumented when applying. The spouse, civil or de facto partner of the principal applicant and the adult child who is between 18 and 23 must have been living undocumented and continuously with the principal applicant as a family unit for the last 2 years prior to the 31st of January 2022 and must continue to reside undocumented as a family unit when the application is submitted. Children over 23 who are living with the family unit cannot be included in a family application and must submit a single application. Where a child is over 18 and is married or in a civil partnership, they have to make an application in their own right. If you have a child who is over 23 and living with you and who suffers from a mental or physical disability that means that they cannot live independently, you must contact the department before applying. This can be done by emailing the department at undocumentedhelp@justice.ie. If you have made an application for international protection and are waiting for a decision for a minimum of 2 years, you will be contacted directly by the International Protection Office. If you are eligible as a protection applicant, you will not be charged a fee either at application or at registration stage. To be eligible under the scheme, you must be of good character and conduct and must not have a criminal record in Ireland or in any other country. However, convictions for minor offences will not mean by itself that you are not eligible. You must be able to submit evidence of your identity. Expired documents that demonstrate your identity will be accepted when applying, but if you are granted permission, then you must have a valid passport in order to register that permission. You will also have to submit evidence of your undocumented residence in Ireland. This can include, for example, utility bills, bank statements, letters from an Irish state agency, a letter from a doctor or a hospital, or a letter from a school principal to demonstrate that your child is in education. If you are making a family application, evidence of the family relationship must be submitted. If you have expired student permission or a deportation order, you will be able to apply, provided you meet the undocumented residence requirements and the other criteria of the scheme. What has been discussed in this video is a brief summary of the scheme. The scheme is designed to be user-friendly, so you should not need the assistance of a solicitor to apply.